After a sea of Disney live-action remakes, with 2 already in the first half of 2025, we now see DreamWorks taking on the remake climate with their own new film, How to Train a Dragon, releasing in just a couple of days. So today, let's discuss where this film can stand to the not-so-great live-action remakes we had over the past couple of years, based on the trailers, reviews, and other tidbits that we have heard. And before we start, make sure to smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. This is a small growing channel, so truly, every subscription really does matter, and I'm also reaching for a goal of 50 subscribers by the end of this month, so please, once again, hit that subscribe button. But first things first, when people ask what's the point of live-action remakes, then it's simple, money. After all, the film industry is rooted in economics, right? Studios wants to put butts in seats, and live-action remakes are a proven way to go. Get a beloved IP that struck a connection before, and wait a couple years to use nostalgia to both cater to old audience, but get a whole new generation to cash in to your product. It's a low risk, but a high reward system that fulfills the basic want for studios of money. But that's a very cynical way to look at it from my perspective, because in that way of looking at remakes is that all movies are like that. Now, once again, they're all rooted in economics, and I'm just saying this because when people ask what is the point of remaking How to Train Your Dragon now, the real answer is that DreamWorks probably wants to build a new audience to cash in on the new Universal Epic Universe that opened a couple months ago. But a key difference I want to point out with this film, this movie, is that it seems to have a beating heart. From what it looks like, DreamWorks didn't put half the effort, but actually spent time, effort, and hired great filmmakers from the original story, and crafted out this legacy once again. And let's just look at the case of the director of this movie first. For those of you who don't know, Dean DuBois was the co-director for the first film and a director for the second and third film. Having Dean back in this universe really matters because he was one of the key architects for creating the animated world that we love so much from the beginning. He was there from square one, and Dean himself has actually spoken about how he's not fond of live-action remakes recently. He has said that he's not a fan of live-action remake films in general because they usually are disappointing versions of the movie he loves. And he said with this film, he challenged those thoughts by keeping everything to the story that people love while building out the deeper mythology, crafting more action that's immersive, and to create richer character interactions. So the point is that having someone that's been there in this franchise from the start and having him also be a little bit of live-action remake naysayer and having that perspective, those perspectives into his filmmaking is exciting. And I don't think this is going to be as good as an animated film, but I think this is going to be a competent one, and this is one of the signs of that. And for me, this movie seems to be better also than most of the remake bunch because of all the recent behind-the-scenes videos I have watched. Seeing Burke fully built out and in a huge live-action setting, and I'm going to also watch this in theater screen later, is just incredibly exciting for me because I never got the chance to watch the first anime movie in theaters. And seeing John Powell return to score this film is also very exciting. His score was one of the best scores I have heard in recent memory, and yeah, the bigger scale, the way CGI is used with the dragons, and just a bigger budget in general is just going to be one of the top appeals that are going for this film. I mean, obviously, just because the film has a bigger budget doesn't mean that it's always better, but in this case, I really want to see this world flesh out in this huge scale, and I think this movie is going to offer that based on all the videos I've seen. And furthermore, the cast and crew really seems genuinely invested in this story. I mean, once again, if we put in our pessimistic point of view, they need to market this movie, and obviously they're going to be doing that by coming out in this interview and saying, oh yeah, this movie's great, blah, 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 blah. But I truly feel the passion for this story with these cast members. I mean, the cast is all invested in the story, and I can really see that from the glimmer in their eyes as they're talking, and you know, it just seems very exciting, and the first reactions are also positive. I mean, if I scroll to Rotten Tomatoes, it's currently at 80% right now, and I'll go to the reviews. This guy says, taking matters into his own hands, How to Train Your Dragon creator, writer, and director Dean DuBois give Hollywood a lesson. How to pull off a live-action remake successfully. Next one, How to Train Your Dragon is here to show what magic looks like, offering a fine example of what a live-action remake can be by giving fans the original everything they love while adding just a little bit more to this new World of Dragons. And of course, there are some negative reviews, but they're usually talking about how this film is basically shot-by-shot remake of the original animated film. And personally, I see their perspective. I see that this in their perspective, and it really is this is just a cash grab. But for me, cash grabs, the goal of getting money and getting, once again, butts in theaters is the goal of this film. Maybe having a shot-by-shot remake is a disappointing perspective from that view, but to me, the fact that they're being faithful to the original adaptation and not adding a lot of unnecessary details that a lot of these remakes have is a promising sign for me. And in the end, this movie seems to be, maybe with the purpose of cash in mind, but it seems to be a competent film with people that really care about this franchise, people that really care about Hiccup and Toothless, and in the end, that's really what matters, the heart and soul of these filmmakers behind the scenes, and I think this movie offers that. I think these reviews offer that. I mean, those are just some of the criticisms, and it's all based on my common stem, and if you ignore that point of view, if you look past that, I think this remake is going to have a really solid potential to be one of the greatest live-action remakes. We had a sequel announced at CinemaCon, and yeah, I'm just really excited to watch this movie in theaters in just a couple of days, and I'll be posting a spoiler review of that. Once again, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I also posted on the post tab of all the content that we'll be covering in June, and yeah, this is Owen Talks Movies, and thank you for watching this video.